All right, so everybody can take this with a grain of salt or whatever, but this guy I talked to out of Japan wrote me back, and he said some stuff about some gaming trends in Japan that I asked him about, and he said, and this is just a quote for quote thing he said, so you know. But I kind of thought this was interesting, being that the guy's in Japan. He's from a small town in Japan, so you know, whatever. I'm not going to say exactly where the guy lives or anything, but it's just one guy's perspective over there. He says, as for gaming trends here, games are insanely expensive. The new Final Fantasy VII game, Dirge of Cerberus, or whatever, is around 7,500 yen new, and I think Final Fantasy XII will be around 8,000 yen. The PSP is hot shit here. I see a bunch of guys waiting for trains and whatnot with them, but I think the price makes it so only the junior high school kids are the only ones who get them. I don't see too many guys my age with DSs. There is only one kid in my class who has one, but it is pink, and he stole it from a girl. Nintendo is doing this whole marketing campaign right now, marketing the DS to adults as some sort of education tool so that you don't lose what you learned in school and stay sharp. The Japanese alphabet has thousands of Chinese characters. The Japanese jacked and used to represent 2 or 3 Japanese characters, and lots of time people forget them. They are also marketing it as a way to learn English with a bunch of software where you will write phrases in Japanese and it will translate it into English, quiz you, etc. I think you guys should come to Japan. Yeah, okay. Brian wouldn't, the Japanese wouldn't put up with him. He'd get ginsued pretty quick.
I'd be running around going, where's that creature with 1,000 penises at, man? That's awesome.
So there are games here for you. Tons of fucking bad movies for Brian. Catwoman, Chucky, Resident Evil, and House of the Dead are hella popular. And there used to be this commercial with a bunch of 5-year-olds with face paint singing Kiss songs for Don.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then...
Chucky.
Wait, hold on. He says some other stuff here.
Really? Who's listening besides you, dude? Because, honestly, you lost me.
Something interesting.
Some dudes are, alright? You guys, you guys are just, I can hear your kids giggling. You're just, playing with your girlfriends.
You guys are just sidekicks. I am the famous one on this show. You just be quiet. I just talk about my Japanese friend.
He says,
it's my kid.
He says, fuck you. Gaming is big here, but I haven't heard much about the PS3, because I asked him if he heard anything about it yet. He goes, but there were tons of commercials for the 360 about a month before it came out, but no one here has one. PS2 is big here. There are row after row of used PS2 games, and only about 2 for GameCube, and about half one for the DS. I haven't seen the DS Lite except in commercials. Cell phone games are surprisingly big here. Everyone seems to have at least one, and they are ass expensive. I bought Dragon Quest 1 for 500 yen, but then was charged 400 the next month, 300 the next month, until it goes down to 0. Everyone has a cell phone, and they are always emailing each other on them. The companies charge insane rates for talking, so people usually send emails like people send SMSs in America. I think the only thing bigger than gaming in Japan is the Backstreet Boys. They are like #1 consistently. I don't get it.
Wow.
Am I not going there?
One of the popular kids at school sang "I Want It That Way" at karaoke and was hella into it. And then he says that Final Fantasy XI came out today at the price of 7,500 yen, which is $70 US. So there
Mr. Big's big in Japan too,
So anyway, just some perspective. I mean, I thought some people might find that interesting.
Where was Biozombies filmed again? Wasn't that Japan? Because it looks kind of, cool. Tell me fucking... Oh.
I don't know, man, but you know what? Why don't you tell me about what movie you saw this week, since Don...
Don
he doesn't watch anything anymore.
I think what happens is, folks, is when the show goes off, Don just goes back into the cryogenic chamber.
I do.
Suspended animation.
Yeah, he's just stopped.
Bunch of steam comes up around him.
And it's just no more content. So, Brian, did you see anything?
I saw Tristan and Isolde. Tristan and Isolde takes place in the 14th century, right after the Romans left England, blah, blah, blah. We're all pretty much familiar with Britain's fucking plight. And the bunch of tribes in Britain are being constantly beaten the shit out of by the Irish. Yes, the Irish actually kicked the shit out of the British this time, and everybody's supposed to hate them, but you can't because they're Irish. So, what happens is that our hero, Tristan, whose family got whacked by the Irish, has to go live with this British king. And he turns out to be one fuck of a warrior, kind of like your Lancelot to your King Arthur, Except it's like a father-son thing, so it'd be kind of different. In any case, he they think he's dead for some reason. He ends up getting put into the boat, and they tried to burn it, but it didn't catch on fire. He rolls over to England or Ireland, and of course, the hot blonde who looks really Italian but is supposed to be Irish finds him. She just happens to be the daughter of the Irish king over there, and then the plot thickens from there. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, all right? If you have a girlfriend and she wants you to sit down and watch some kind of movie or a romance movie or something, you can suffer through this one. But if you watch this one by yourself, you're wearing a dress. Because I couldn't finish it. You have to, because it's so bad. And like halfway through it, you're like, I can't watch this anymore. I can't. I may rent it just to see how it ends, but
That's it.
it was some good action, good fighting. The acting was good, but it's the story. Just like it's just guys crying and the girls fucking the king and then fucking Tristan at the same time, or not the same time. That would have been interesting. But I couldn't. Christ, and there's all this backstabbery going on. And
Backstabbery.
I was watching it and I'm like, I'm actually praying the Irish come and just kill everybody and get it over with, please, because I have to. And that's Brian's review of Tristan and Isolde.
All right, so you didn't really like it, basically.
No.
You gonna go see that new Johnny Depp movie where he's some aristocrat guy that?
Well, I'll probably rent it. I probably won't go see it. I won't go see V for Vendetta.
Sexual situations going on in it.
And
what do they say when they have the rating? Sexual situations, rated R.
It's
some mature,
dude, plain and simple.
Nudity. I forget all of them.
The dude from 21 Jump Street.
Obscene. Yeah.
The dude who's making money hand over fist, no matter what the fuck movie he's in.
Deluise.
He's going to be making another movie, like by the same guy who was that wrote.
Oh yeah.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He's doing the Rum Diaries for you. I can't remember I'm going to kill myself later for not remembering the writer's name. But I read that book. It was excellent. It was funny as hell. I can't wait. It's going to be good.
So, I forgot to mention at the top of the show, the server crashed, which holds our contest entry page and our Shoutcast stream and all the emails that people sent in previous to that. Because I didn't announce winners last week, I can't announce one of the winner that emailed in from last week because I can't get the files off the backup tape, unfortunately. Which also meant that most people didn't get last week's podcast until probably Monday when they turn on their business computer. Although some people may have got it over the last couple of days since I fixed it up. The podcast portion of it in the last couple of days. There were like 750 downloads for people that actually went to the website to try and find it manually. So for those people, thank you. That was pretty cool of you. But the other, 5 people that were trying to get the show didn't show up in your podcast thing because the server crashed. The reason that happened is because some drunk driver slammed into a transformer pole outside of the complex, and it shut all the power down out here. And then the hard drive that was in that particular machine just decided it wasn't going to spin up anymore. So, lost everything, and then the backup...
You lived like in a fortress, man.
And then I have I have a redundant power supply, and it shuts everything down, but it was just like the hard drive just wouldn't spin back up.
You should live in this white suburban,
No, dude, the power goes out here all the time.
Out of some fucking
dude, this is Cleveland, man. We're the ones who knocked everybody's power out. What are you talking about?
The power stops here, baby.
That's right.
Fuck you.
They didn't have power for 2 days. It was crazy.
And it had to be the hot... Kevin and me are sitting there lurping around the fucking mall because it had air conditioning, and everybody's walking around like somnambulous. We're just like, let's find a bunch and just go to sleep.
Dude, it was crazy.
We were dying. Mall security's like, they didn't do shit because they would have had a fucking riot.
I had to drive to another county just to get, just to find some ice.
Everybody I talked to the like, man. No, our power's up.
Yeah.
They turned those power guys, man. They turned the power on our street, and I swear there was just like they were like people giving him beer, chicks going up giving him kisses and shit. I'm like, yeah, it must be nice. Be the power guy. People forgot that these fuckers lost the power. They blamed us. It actually happened in New York.
Even with the power out, I still had to go to work the next day. I didn't have a clock or anything. I didn't have anything to tell me what time it was.
I went into work that night because even though our backup generator came back on, it didn't really, we had to rewire everything. But, I don't know, man. It was crazy. It was just crazy. So,
I was in the steel mill when that happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Think about that.
I just pulled in into work, and that's when all the power went out. Thank God, because all the traffic lights would have been fucked up. And I heard it on the radio. That, what radio stations were still up and running. I said, "Yeah, the power's up from here to New York City and shit." And I went upstairs and told my boss, they're like, "Well, how's the parking?" I'm like, "I heard it's out from here to New York City." And they're like, "Yeah, sure, ha ha ha." I'm like, "Fuck you, then. I don't believe me." And 2 minutes later, like, "Oh, we didn't know." I'm like, "Well,
it's that lying fucking Brian Baird again.
Yeah,
he's making shit up.
That dick."
See, that's the boy that cried wolf.
You're fired.
See,
funny.
The wolf really did come for once, and you got caught. That's what happened.
Ha ha.
Yeah, ha ha. All right, so